Call on Allah, Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Kakadash, double honor to the Apostle Ellsworth Millstone, peace, I teach, and hope for electrical one. And this is going to be a lesson in regards to, the PS6 and pretty much what's going to happen now, future, starting in 2028 and following and so forth. In the future is the fact that the PS6 will be digital only, Sony's and PlayStation physical games in 2028. So that's pretty much the title of Vice.com in this article. It says PlayStation has confirmed it will stop making physical PS5 disc in 2028 following GTA 6 move to a digital only release. And pretty much we already know where this is going to lead up to. Ultimately it's going to lead up to the MOTB, which they're trying to push for everything to be digital so that way they can have more control over everything, and that's pretty much what they want, a society where they control what you buy, and it's going into like what Klaus Schwab said, you will own nothing and be happy. So that's what they're trying to push for. But let's go further into this article so I won't be ranting. So it says Sony has confirmed that PlayStation will go fully digital in 2028, ending physical game discs for PS5 and future consoles such as PS6. The surprising move follows in the footsteps of Rockstar Games, which recently announced that GTA 6 would be digital only at launch. Sony's decision could have effectively killed physical games on PlayStation going forward. PlayStation will stop making PS5 physical discs in 2028. An official blog post published on July 1st, PlayStation announced that all PS5 games will no longer get physical disc editions beginning in 2028. The publisher effectively confirmed that their upcoming PS6 console will be going digital only and will not support physical media formats. According to Sony, its decision to go all digital with PS5 and PS6 games aligns with the direction the industry is currently heading in, as consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from the physical disc to digital. Physical game disc production for all new games released on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. It says Sony also confirmed that PS5 games will now only be available digitally on the PlayStation Store or through retailers that sell codes. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in its disc format. Let me see. Okay. Says Sony's decision ends all physical media on PS5 and future consoles. As if the news wasn't troubling enough, several insiders have pointed out that Sony's decision has bigger implications for the platform. If you were hoping that this only applies to PlayStation Studios games, that isn't so if reports are to believe. For example, according to Genki APN, all physical games released on PlayStation consoles are manufactured by Sony. This also includes third-party releases. In case some people didn't know, all physical PlayStation games are manufactured by Sony. You have to go through Sony to get your game printed on a disc. Once PlayStation decides it's not making discs anymore, it's all over for physical media on their platform. If this is accurate, it appears that all physical games on PS5 or PlayStation consoles are indeed dead. Players react to PlayStation ending physical PS5 discs. Of course, as you can imagine, the news didn't go over very well with many players. Physical game collector in particular called PlayStation's decision to stop physical discs catastrophic and apocalyptic. Some fans even threatened to boycott the PS6 when it eventually launches over Sony's decision. I bought every new generation of PlayStation that released. Looks like the PS6 is where it sadly ends for me, one user commented on the official blog post. For example, another frustrated player exclaimed, "Horrible decision, but what can you expect from this company at this point?" One PlayStation fan even threatened to move their future purchases to Steam. If that's the case, I will buy all my games on Steam from now on. On a personal note, I can't help but wonder how this is going to impact the secondhand trade and market for retailers such as GameStop. Because if a company as big as PlayStation are going all digital, surely other major publishers will follow suit. This certainly could be the end of secondhand games as we know it, and that's extremely depressing. Yeah, and this whole, I would just say, outside from the article, like this whole shift from basically going like from having like, because there was a thing like growing up, in the 21st century, the beginning stages of the 21st century, like early 2000s or so, and even before the 2000s, you had the generation, that grew up on the VCR you know, and at one point you was watching movies through certain discs. First it was like through a tape, and then they pushed it to a disc, and now it's like you get to stream your movies. So that pretty much did away with that you know uh form of technology, like using a disc to watch your movies, or listen to radio music or so with the CDs and all that, the CD players. See, um pretty much like the shift in the technology over the decades has pretty much done away with a lot of those old devices, so there's no longer a need for those devices anymore, like using a VHS to play your tapes and all that, and using like a CD player to watch your movies or watch your TV shows and all that stuff, but using the radio to play your music and all that stuff through the CD. See, all those things are done away with because people get to stream their music, they get to stream their TV shows, they get to stream their movies, and in this case now they're trying to just do away with the disc in general and just have all the games digital. And now this ultimately is a great way how Esau is going to go as far as like controlling the world, because now everything is linked to the internet. So can't people put two and two together to understand that this is what they're gonna lead to, is microchipping everybody, and that all these roads from going from physical to digital, and I'm telling you, like physical entertainment of having like all your forms of entertainment on a physical disc or a VHS or so, and that going into like a tape, going to a disc, and now it's going to go into let's say however you buy the particular form of entertainment, like through a website or through an app or so. Now it's going digital, and now very soon, in order for you to access it digitally, you're gonna have to go as far as getting the chip in you. You see, this is how this devil works, so he's gonna play that passive aggressive nonsense with trying to make sure that people get the chip, and then next thing you know, even when they get it now, and now they say something against the society, say something against the government, oh, they can't watch their entertainment no more. They get to block that out. You see? And now when the internet shut off, and mind you, a lot of people don't really have CDs and what they call that. They don't have the radio players. A lot of people probably don't even have that in their home, or even if they do, it's probably all dusted. It's all bunch of dust mites, on it and all that. They wouldn't even think to look, for those particular technologies, because it's like it's pretty much outdated, given that everything is mostly online. And when it's coming to this whole digital shit, with Esau having this whole way of pretty much pushing his his agenda towards like not only transhumanism, but towards like he wants like a totalitarian dictatorship, by way of technocracy, and he wants to have like a dictatorship, with that, a totalitarian dictatorship. So that way he gets to control everything that you watch, everything that you do for entertainment, and you people can't say anything against it. And even if you do, by that point, you try, they will be able to just tamper with your thoughts, tamper with everything that you people love so much. And as the saying goes, you will own nothing, be happy. And mind you, Esau has a passive aggressive approach to this shit too. So you best believe that he sound like he's doing things for the best. And then this is the quote from the Bible where it mentions about how he go out as a lamb but speak like a dragon. That's that passive aggressive shit. You come out looking innocent, you come out looking humble and docile, and then it's like, wait a minute, we ain't expect to see this other side of you that you pretty much portrayed yourself and advertise yourself as, a lamb, and now you coming down, speaking harshly and shit like a dragon. But that's the devil for you. It's deceitful. So yeah. Bring out Revelation, 13:16, basic scriptures. So it says in Revelation 13, starting at 16, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right. And pretty much, from there, it's like you already know, like, this is what the push is going to be. It's going to go from whatever you have physical to going digital, and next thing you know, he's gonna go as far as now pushing that MOTB. And this is what John the Revelator, seeing the vision of people going as far as to getting chipped or stuff like that. And bring out Isaiah 14, and start at verse 13. It might be the last precept, to be honest, because just wanted to bring out that article and just make it straight to the point about what this devil is planning on doing. But it says in Isaiah 14 verse 13, it says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, I will sit also upon the mount of congregation in the sides of the north." And, and exalting his throne above the stars of the Most High, that goes twofold. The stars, he's have his space station and satellite and all that, out in some part of the because they can't really fully go out of space, so they have it up, like in a particular, ozone layer within the they can't pass like a specific atmosphere to go out of space, because there's like a firmament keeping them blocked. So they have their space stations up there, if you know what I mean. So, and then another thing too, like, the stars of the Most High, which is pretty much on a physical level, is also, the nation of Israel, because we are also considered as stars under Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh Shai will be like the morning star, the brightest star, and then pretty much, the rest of his people will be considered as stars as well. And he does exalt himself above our people, to the point where he has taken our lands and even violated us, raped, robbed, and murdered our people, and pretty much, violated just our people in general, and pushed us in the slums and all that stuff. And it tells you that, Ezekiel the 36th chapter. So yeah, this devil, man, he has done a number to our people. Not only just exalting his throne, but he has also violated us and, pretty much did a number to jack our people up. And Isaiah 14 verse 14 says, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." Right. And this is how he's trying to be like the Most High, because he has a godlike complex with trying to use his technology to have a particular technocratic dominion over, the masses of people. This is how he's going to be able to push his new world order. This is how he's going to be able to artificially push for getting his birthright back. This is how he's going to pretty much go as far as, getting further access to being like the Most High, where he's going to take control of all life, and the things that he don't understand, he's going to destroy, which that's why scripture said, if the Most High don't come in time, no flesh shall be saved. If he don't send his son Yahweh Shai to come in time. And verse 15, it says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pits." And that's how low the Most High is going to bring you, devils. And it says in verse 16, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, and did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners?" Yeah, because they didn't want to let our people know who the hell we were as a nation of people. That's why they didn't open our house. They didn't want to set us free, just like Pharaoh. They wanted to keep us in prison, and that's what they're currently trying to do. Want to keep us in debt, keep us enslaved, and shit, they don't want to let us go. And it says all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. So yeah, that pretty much point right there is made. And this will actually be the last precept, which just jumped into my mind through the spirit of Psalms 10 and verse 1. It says, why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in the times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken into the devices they have imagined. And this is one of the devices that Esau, you know, he has imagined, is trying to find ways to go as far as taking control of people. Meaning he wants to, all this stuff is meant to attack, the nation of Israel, but they're willing and hell bent on attacking the nation of Israel to the point where they will get the other nations, and even most particularly their own people, even if it's Amalek in it too. They're gonna get a lot of their own people caught up in this, just to try to get Israelites amongst the other nations and Israelites amongst their own people, because you do have Israelites that look like the other nation that look like their own people too. So this is how hell-bent Esau is on trying to destroy the nation of Israel. Now, even his own people are going to have to be caught up in the devices that he made mainly for us, which goes to show you how fucked up and messed up he is. And it says in verse 3, for the wicked boast of his heart's desires, and blessed the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth. Basically the backwardness of Esau. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Yeah, because he has that pride where he boasts at his enemies, thinking that he's the big shit. Like in the book of Daniel, talking about the little horn being more stout than its fellows. And that's the pride that America has. And these Edomites in America are the most fucking prideful out of all the other countries out there. And it says in verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And that's what you people are going to soon get to realize when you see this devil turning everything from physical to digital. And then you're going to see like, shit, you've been frauded, you've been scammed by this devil, because now it's like, wait, didn't I pay for all these services? How the fuck do I get these services taken away? Oh, well, because you have offended, the small hats and said something that was anti-Semitic, that you have said something that was an offense to, pretty much like it was hate speech. So it was an offense to this religion, it was an offense to, a group of people. So now they're going to pretty much tamper with your services now, and they're going to also tamper with everything that you own, which will go to show you that you will own nothing and be happy, so to say. And if that ain't a fucked up life, I don't know what the fuck it is. Because that sure as hell is worse than living. That's just like someone possessing you to enjoy life, and then at the same time it's like you ain't really enjoying life. And at that point you got to ask yourself, would you want the Most High to just make you righteous and follow all the law, statute, commandments, and in this and be in the spiritual bodies, as an Israelite? Or would you rather have Esau to put a fucking chip up in you and basically control and dictate everything that goes on in your life? Because you got to choose who you want to be your owner, because at the end of the day, the Most High is still going to own our people regardless. And no matter what Esau try to do with this NWO, scripture say that when in the book of Job, that when you shall fill your belly, the Most High is going to cast his wrath upon you, while you're eating, and that he always disappointed the devices of the wicked. So no matter what, you ain't going to get away, and you ain't going to succeed fully. And it says, he sitteth in the lurking place of the villages, in the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor, and when he draweth him into his net. And that's exactly what he's doing with a lot of you people, with your services, your entertainment, all that shit that he's trying to push to be digital. He's going to try to draw you into his net, lure you into the trap. And, eventually you're going to comply. You're going to have, there's going to be some pushback here and there, some protest against, revolts against it to some degree, but then it's like people, what it is it's out of convenience, so they're just gonna still comply and go along with the nonsense anyway, you know, because people are just, they don't have nothing better to look forward to, so it's like they're not rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, you know, and for the most part 2/3 are meant to be taken in a snare any damn way, so you know that's pretty much good riddance for them. And to you other nations, I mean, most I ain't call y'all regardless, so you know, so be it if y'all get chipped and all that. But other than that, you know, a point and the lesson is made there. And like to say, call on Allah, Yahweh, Bashim, Shah, Bashim, Kakadash, double honor, supplies, Elsgrim, Milson, peace, I teach, and hope for elect, Shalom.